Welcome back everyone, Ronan here, and this is part 5 of the highlights from my stream. Now, as we're getting closer to March 8th, which is the date that the Division comes out, I need to finish my Ironman playthrough at least to be able to move on to another game for probably a month, at least. Oh wait, then there's Dark Souls 3, so right there I'm going to be putting down Xcom 2 for about 3 months, I would say. To be fair, with Dark Souls 3 coming out, that's going to be another Soul Level 1 run, and then No Death run. That might take me a while. As always, thank you all for coming. It's amazing the support you guys give me. Before we move on with this video, I've been trying to get a hold of Arbitrator. You actually won the game, Arbitrator. If you check your messages, I sent you a message about 3 weeks ago. I've been trying to get a hold of you. This is the only way I know how now. If I don't get a response within a week, I'm going to pass the prize away to somebody else that may be able to use it. Hopefully you get this. I'm sorry if for some reason you won't be able to get this message. Just a quick reminder, the game was actually Albion Online Legendary Founders Pack. So here we just came back from the Division. It's the first pull of the evening, and I think the game was trolling me. Just trying to tell me that I should have been playing this.
Closing on target position now.
So I move Ron, which is me, in there. I guess do nothing with him. So I do a Void Rift, and before my spell even goes off, they start moving. It's like, what the... How is this even possible? So do I still hit them? Apparently you still hit them, so it's not a big deal. It's just a graphical error, but still kind of weird. And just to show you how Rift is overpowered, I'm going to let the clip run. So Nemesis just keeps on going. So he killed the one. Just to show you guys how powerful Void Rift is. I let this clip go. And Nemesis just keeps on launching abilities. He actually mind controlled the Big Daddy, also known as Andromeda, and killed the Viper in one turn. Pretty insane. So another skill that might get overlooked is Stasis. Now Fuse is nice because it has no cooldown, but doesn't do much damage. Stasis can be used on an enemy to actually lock them out of combat for one turn. So if you have a hard enemy, like let's say a Gatekeeper or a Sectopod, you can lock them out. It works on mechs and on biological enemies. Depending on what you're facing, this could be a very good tactic to use along with a Mimic Beacon if there's multiple enemies. So I'm not a very big fan of hacking anyway. It misses a lot. I mean, it's a good thought, but the RNG is pretty huge, and it's hard to train. You can't actually add stats other than having a Skulljack item on your hackers and boosting your Gremlin. But there's no way to boost that stat any other way, I don't think. So here, what I really wanted to show is the turret. It cheats. It can see through the floor. For some reason, it can shoot at the soldiers are below it, right through the floor. That is insane. I've been having this problem with multiple levels. That needs to be patched. Line of sight is... I mean, you need line of sight to shoot at something. Unless there's something I don't understand. Alright, so turret's dead. Now we can clearly see the flare right there. But as I'm interacting with the stream, I lose track of the flare, because usually it stays there, right? So he calls it in, I'm like, great, it's right next to me. I look away, I look back. Where is it? So I'm like, I'm pretty sure I knew where it was. But it could have been anywhere along the water, really. So by not seeing it there, I try to spread out and go for Overwatch. It's not like Overwatch is incredibly reliable anyway. So they drop, you know, right where we saw the flare just now. And I get my 3 shots. But that could have turned out pretty bad by not seeing the flare. But somehow the pilot can still see the flare. That's weird. Even Crater shoots. That was a pretty lucky shot. Shot through the wall. You can see the bullet hole right there. Or plasma hole. Right through there. So he shot through that wall. Through another wall. As you can see the other bullet hole. And killed the guy. Again, that shouldn't happen. So some of you may notice, it's almost like I don't really care about cover anymore. I spend a lot of time in the open and somehow still live. I guess it's just the firepower I bring to the fight. So, Mimic Beacon, because I rely on that stuff way too much. If they ever patch this, I'm going to have to change my game style. Now on that same turn, I'm trying to line up the Null Lance. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hit my own guy. That's not going to be worth it. I'm just trying to see like how I can... And then I look back. Through the flames, I still hit the Archon. So I'm not believing this, but here goes. I hit both and not my Mimic Beacon along the way. Amazing. And I'm pretty sure the flames kill the Archon. Alright, I'm not sure if I've brought this up before, but here goes. The facility lead. That is amazing. If you get a chance at getting a lead, it is much better than delaying a dark event by 2 weeks. And I got it. That basically makes you not have to make contact with a country to assault the base that it's on, which is huge, especially that it lets you forget about the Avatar project until it goes full out, and you can just assault that base then and there, and then cancel the timer. It's amazing. Definitely go for it if you have a chance. Now, the hack shouldn't have pulled. As far as I know, it shouldn't have pulled the sectopod, but whatever. So, as I said, I'm going to keep an eye out more on the interactions in between combat. Because sometimes there's just some funny quirks, especially if you start putting your own soldiers in. And I'm pretty sure that's Blaze right there. He's got somebody taking care of him. Good for him. And then there's the commander. That's me. Nobody's there. Nobody cares. That hurts, especially coming from when I'm going to attempt to do Ironman and keep you all alive.
For better or worse.
And then we see here,
I appreciate the sentiment.
Nemesis actually, when he's not in his, in combat, he doesn't have the hockey mask, which is the ponytail, white-haired guy. That is Nemesis. It's kind of funny. Then you have Richard doing sit-ups. Jane seems kind of, I don't know, a little pissed. Why is she still standing? Alright, so here I kind of spawned a lot of soldiers in one turn. But I was pretty confident. There's Lucas. aka Rodriguez. I was thinking that was a faceless. So I was going to throw my Mimic Beacon right next to it and hopefully spawn it. And I put it in a spot where I could see other things. There you go. I spawned another group. I already had 2 to deal with, I think. Now it's a 3rd group. So I'm not really sure what to do here.
Here I come.
I've actually built a really good cannoneer now. His aim is like 120. He doesn't miss really anymore. It's pretty amazing. You gotta get those perception chips to put in your soldiers. Those make a big difference.
All right, I'll go.
So now we have my cannoneer. Seabreeze, I think?
This is for
It's hard
you.
to read. Launch my acid grenade. Does good damage. So I'm in a pretty tight spot in that right now. One Mimic Beacon is not going to cut it.
Alright, I'll go.
I'm trying to see where that actually is. Oh, it's the sectoid? Lucky hit, I kill a sectoid.
One down, thousands to go.
Por fin.
Now we have Crater, which basically takes the show right here. So I'm not really thinking about it. I just launched that Void Rift. I'm trying to hit as many things as possible. And it just happens to be that it's right there. Hit 3 things. I guess he was just preparing mentally for what he's about to do. So one's dead. Now at this point I have 2 mimic beacons because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was in a pretty tight spot. And he actually mind controls the gatekeeper with Rift. That was just perfect timing. Now I don't need to have 2 mimic beacons though. It's a good thing I carry 3. So this is the first time I actually mind controlled a gatekeeper. I want to see its abilities and I want to know how it worked. That's good information for my next run. So apparently you have to open up the shell to be able to use the more powerful attacks. It leaves you open to get hit harder. Now it says damage 2. I'm not really sure what that means. Does it take 2 damage? It removed its armor. That's what it did. Okay. So it probably removed whatever armor you did have. Now I'm using this gateway spell, which I have never used, but I've seen it used before. And I'm pretty sure that's what creates zombies. So I try to hit as many things as possible. That's a pretty big range, by the way. And basically, it does revive people it kills as zombies. If your mimic beacon is in the way, it will revive that as a zombie because there's a bug or an unintentional mistake that they made where your mimic beacons stay on the ground, not active, but that's where you get those notices where it says that you're about to do some friendly fire because you may have already put a mimic beacon in the area and you're about to launch a grenade on it. So just be wary because you could actually respawn yourselves as zombies. This clip goes to show on how badly Overwatch can be. It's pretty ridiculous. There's other instances it can be useful, but it's just not reliable. So that's 1 miss. 2 misses. 3. It's not like he's in cover or anything. 4. I guess the only explanation that he's 5 is that he was dashing, so he gets bonus cover, I guess, or bonus defense. So 5 out of 5 missed. Good game. Like I said before, I'd be looking through these to see the interactions. We have Grandpa. Now he's the one that's having an argument with Nemesis. Probably because Grandpa earned his white hair. And then you have Zane and Scarlet in the back again. Always together, those two. Kind of interesting. Come to think of it, Grandpa's probably telling Nemesis to put his mask back on. I never intended for Nemesis to have hair. Alright, here. I end up mind controlling the officer. I needed to do a skulljack. And the term is pretty funny, I find, but somebody didn't think about the meaning, I guess. If you mind control an officer, or anybody really, you can no longer skyjack. You can no longer skulljack them. So just be careful with that. I really wanted to use the skulljack on this officer to get the codex to spawn, but now it's permanently in my control. So unless I had a flashbang, even then the flashbang doesn't work on friendlies, so it wouldn't have affected Nemesis. So there's really nothing I can do at this point unless I kill Nemesis, which I'm just I'm not gonna do that. Here I'm trying to push Lucas to level, so I'm trying to get him some kills. And I managed to kill the sectoid. That's not an issue. But he's in the open.
Alright, I'll go.
So being in the open, I don't really have much of a choice to protect him against the Andromeda. So I got the rapid fire with 2 shots, so that's handy. And I put the officer in the open to hopefully get him to get attacked by the Andromeda or Big Daddy. So he has 1 health left. Now I really want to protect Lucas. I don't want him to die.
On your order.
So I moved over here and I used aid protocol because I know that if I spawn or kill this one, it turns into the robotic version and I'm still gonna get hit. So I did threat assessment, which boosts my defense by 30 or 40 at this point, which is almost like being in full cover. Plus it puts him into Overwatch. I forgot about that. So he gets the kill. I thought that was pretty awesome. Except the game's taking a pause. The game takes a lot of pauses. It likes to think or something. You still hear the sectopod in the background. So he still gets a move. He comes back. Instead of running away like he was doing, he comes back in for an attack. Now, thankfully, my plan worked and it hit the officer, or tried to hit the officer. I just thought that was pretty cool. And guys, just in case I wasn't really clear with the Overwatch earlier, this is how bad it is. So the officer missed. I'm not sure which one he shot at. Probably the soldier with 10 health. She takes a shot. She's guaranteed to do 1 damage. So I guess the stocks could help in that department. So that's 3 misses. Now it's on the sectoid. Or sorry, sectopod. It's what, 4 miss? 4 out of 4 miss. That is brutal. But it's still pretty easy to deal with sectopod once you have your upgraded weapons. Even before, it's not so bad. Although I do have 2 psiotic soldiers, so even if Overwatch misses a lot, it's still really handy to use when you have nothing else to do or you want to pin down an enemy. Although in XCOM 2 I found even though they know you're overwatching them, they'll still move out of the way, which is terrible. Apparently mark target is grayed out. I don't know why. Maybe it's only a single use. Officers don't live that long for me to find out if they can do it twice. Their aim is really low when you mind control them. I'm assuming they take a aim drop. So, lightning hands. Too bad he missed. I'm pretty sure he has blue tech rounds too. That'd be pretty handy for me. I've been playing a lot with the scouts or rangers, and I think I like the scout tree better on higher difficulties because then they're not in the open. They actually can get really powerful with a plasma rifle. So that grenade should take care of both of those guys. So I got Haywire Protocol.
Take it.
I'm gonna try to hack it. Oh yeah, he did have blue tech rounds because his hack defense is decreased. I see that now. So shutdown or control? I'm safer with shutdown. Although I would have gotten it. So that gives me more time. So I have a lot of abilities to go against sectopods in my groups. I have stasis, the Haywire Protocol. I have blue tip, I think blue screen arrows, blue screen bullets, and that just a whole bunch of things. I also bring a, well, I generally have 2 to 3 mimic beacons, but Sectopod can take care of that in 1 turn. And I also have the EMP grenade. So all these things are really handy at taking care of a all these things are really handy for taking care of a Sectopod. I got lucky with the rapid fire. And even Void Rift works on these. Even though they're not living, they're robots, it still works. I'm not gonna complain. So it shut down. I still get my turn. If that truck blows up, it takes away the supplies with it.
Watch those supply crates. If you destroy them, there won't be anything left for us to recover once the area is secure.
I don't know how the fire spread that far. Oh, maybe it was Void Rift.
Metido.
I wanted to make sure I killed the officer for the experience. Then again, that's a kernel level. That's a kernel level skill. You don't get experience from that.
All hostiles are down
I don't know if
and
I
the
was
area
realizing
is
that at the
secure.
time.
Status confirmed.
That's how I deal with a
Mission accomplished.
sectopod. Really easy. Hopefully this helps you out. Alright, we finally managed a skulljack, so we spawned a codex. Now that was on my last turn, so not very good.
Existing simultaneous.
Teleported behind me, it's kind of scary, and then it does its rift or black hole ability. And it hits 3 of my guys. Now all 3 are out of ammo essentially. So I'm like, crap.
Espero que valga la pena.
But that's alright. Lucas is the gunslinger, which is pretty much most of my snipers. He goes there, he doesn't need a bullet. Pistols have unlimited ammo. Boom. 1 shot. Gunslinger is so awesome.
Excellent.
So it seems that there's a pretty common theme right now, is I'm fighting sectopods almost every fight. Now here, it's their turn. I like seeing sectopods move inside buildings and UFOs. That's the funniest. They destroy everything. I have my Minig beacon there, so I'm assuming it's going for it. Sometimes I get confused. It's kind of funny to watch them. Now, Seabreeze, which is my cannoneer, his minigun is actually really good. I added a scope to it and a 20 aim bonus to his chip. So that's what, 35% more chance to hit. And he's actually on a higher ground, so whatever he shoots at, it's gonna hit. It's actually a pretty good way to do it. Although they shoot a lot of grenades, but that could be a good way to have like chain shot. And almost forgot, Crater pointed this out. The soldier's shooting through the window and didn't break. So a lot of the builds are highly dependent on gear. Same goes with the sniper build. It's highly dependent on gear. So I think one thing I forgot to mention right here.
Empieza la fiesta. Eso de esperar.
So this is one thing you could do. I moved, I think that's Crater, to go hack. Now as I open the hack, I noticed that there's a soldier's hacking stat permanently increased by 20. I cancel out of there. I want my specialist to do this, because that will help them with hacking robots. So, works out. Acid killed the Archon. And before you end your missions, try to kill everybody that you have mind controlled. That way you get more experience. And see, he gets a 100% chance to hit with his beam cannon. So good. That might affect the way I play a cannoneer in the future. Or now it's just the armor, so it's a robotic enemy. And Joey with the slash. 10. Nice. Although I still like the scout better.
You see that?
Because the blade can't get upgrades, it can't get a 100% chance to hit. The scout can. Although Reaper is nice, but you could also use Reaper with a non-blade master and still do a lot of damage. So here goes. I go for the hack, and that's who you want to get the points. It's your specialist. They're the best hackers that you can have. Each one increase their chance. And for her, it's 100%. And reducing the Dark Event by 2 weeks, it's not a big deal. Just in case you think I forgot, Gorgax, you're in the Psi Lab. You're not actually forgotten about. You're being worked on as a PsyOp. Here I go through the list and I recruit everybody that's part of the stream. So I'm going through the list and picking up any name that I notice that I'm supposed to be playing and not playing no names. I'll have to be doing this for the Iron Man games, and I'll have to get much better at it and hopefully keep you guys alive. By the way, Crater, there's your son. I found him, I just have to train him a bit. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video, which should be the Iron Man playthrough starting on Wednesday night. I'll see you guys there.